Hello, it is March 1st at 5:30. I just finished grading all of your footnote trail exercises, which is a day earlier than I thought. That almost never happens. But I just graded almost all of them within Blackboard, so I'm not going to email you a Word document with extensive comments on it, marginal comments and an end comment like I usually do, because my main purpose was just to give you general feedback about your research method and the kinds of sources you found, and push you toward a narrower research question in most cases. So if you'd like more feedback about your footnote trail paper, and you can revise it if you're unhappy with the grade, then I'll certainly talk to you about that. But this one is more of a process. It's a step in the process, beginning your research, and then the annotated bibliography is the intermediate step. The bibliographic essay will be the final step until I give you feedback for revision. Everyone has to revise that. So that's the idea, and I just want to let you know, I probably in at least half the cases I mentioned, okay, this is good for now, this was good to get you started in research, but you need a narrower research question. And some good examples I saw were researching, I want to say, the myth of the digital native, the belief that anyone born after 1985 or 1990 or whatever is totally comfortable with all kinds of technology, which is just not true. So that one was good. There were a few others that were, I thought, narrow enough that the writer could just stick with that and keep seeing where that conversation has gone. You don't have to. No one has to stick with the research topic that you pursued in your footnote trail. Hopefully, and I gave you feedback, if your research method, your way of locating sources and evaluating them, if that was in place. So as long as you know how, if you understand how to follow citations and navigate that conversation in between scholars, that was the main point. Some people maybe misunderstood that, so I give you feedback about that too. So, narrower research question. In many cases, the research question that I saw, or I didn't see one but sort of surmised, was what is the best way to teach writing? Or how do we improve our students' writing in high school or college? And I try to be gentle when phrasing this, but you're not going to find that answer. Writing is a very complex activity. Teachers have different strengths. There are way different institutional contexts and pressures and expectations. So, the more theories you read in the second half of the semester, the more you're going to see there are many ways to teach composition that work for some students, in some places, for some teachers, for some purposes. So I would tell you that you're not going to be able to do research and find the best way to teach composition. You'll have to pick a narrow topic, something that is achievable in the next few weeks, where you can actually pose a research question and find, a reasonable answer about it in the time that you have to work on it in this semester. So I'm going to help you try to find that and figure out how to do that. I also saw several people who may be used to education research or research in other fields that tends to be more empirical, saying things like, this was just an opinion, there was no evidence to back up this person's argument, or there was no data here, or there's no real evidence, something like that. And again, the more you read the different theories as we proceed during the semester, one of the, I don't know if it's really a composition theory, but one research method is empirical research. That is one of many. And so you've already been exposed to like the talk aloud protocols, theorizing, which is what Fagley did in his three competing theories of process. The histories were historical research, so that it counts as research, it counts as scholarship, but it doesn't have any numbers in it. So looking for number, if you are thinking of research as something that has numbers and like control group, experimental group, empirical research design. A lot of what we publish is not like that, but it's still valuable. That's basically one difference between quantitative and qualitative research. And we have some quantitative. There's a lot of administrative pressure to come up with quantitative, but qualitative definitely has its place as well, especially for an activity like writing. So I wanted to say that. I've linked to the annotated bibliography assignment. I talked about the importance of a narrow research question there. I want to make sure that you pay attention to the bulleted list of questions or things to think about with each entry, because we're moving away from summary. We're understanding the difference between summary and synthesis, summary and like a critical reading or reflection on your purpose for this source. Some people still did a lot of summary in your footnote trail. Excuse me. So make sure in your annotated bibliography you only do like a sentence or two of summary. What I say is a very brief summary in the line after the citation. Most of it will be evaluating the source. Who is it? Where was it published? When was it published? Is this going to be a good source for you? Because research means taking a lot of wrong turns. So you can go through 7 to 10 sources and figure out along the way, 4 of these are not good for me. And that's fine. You can still write about them because that's how research works. So don't think of this as, I think some other kinds of papers get called an annotated bibliography, but they're just like summaries of each article, and that's not what I want. Very important, and I'll say that again. So that's what you're moving toward, but that's not due until the 31st of March. I want to let you know, in case it's not clear, I did edit the schedule to make this more clear. Next week is our spring break here on campus, so I'll be checking email, but mostly I'll be working on other projects, and I'm going to a conference. So I won't be in my office very much, and I won't be as responsive by email as I usually am. But I really want to talk with you about your research topics if you'd like to explore that with me. I also made a forum available on the discussion board for getting in touch with classmates about their research topics. Some of you had some overlap in your research topics, not a whole lot that I've seen yet, but some version of teaching with technology is always a pretty popular one. A lot of people need to get more specific with that. So it's optional. You can post in that forum and say, this is what I'm considering. Is anyone else considering something similar? And y'all can talk about what you've already found. You could share sources or not. Just if that's useful to you, then use that forum. I've also opened up a forum that's for anonymous course feedback. And I've explained why in that forum. You can post anonymously or you can post as yourself. Just let me know how the course is going, because it's really helpful for me to know how you're experiencing the course, because I get feedback from some of you sometimes, but I would like a broader range. And if you want to say nice things, that's always welcome too. What else did I want to tell you? I think that's pretty much it. So look for your grade and some comments about your footnote trail paper in Blackboard. I've attached 2 documents to people for documents in the Word document. Comments in the Word document form, sorry. And annotated bibliography, getting ready for that. Research question, spring break. I think that's it. Oh, I really want to respond to your rhetoric comments, because the school that I come from, it might be apparent by now, UT Austin has a very strong rhetoric program, and a lot of the classes that I took and the professors I worked with, they're more rhetoric scholars than composition scholars. I was sort of an odd duck there, because I was more interested in composition. It's related to rhetoric. That's a whole different conversation. But I love thinking about rhetoric. It's really influenced my pedagogy, and so I want to get in on that conversation, but I haven't had a chance to yet. So I will do that. And I need to go vote. So I hope if you're in a voting state, that you also have voted or go vote. And of course, if you have questions about your paper, anything else, let me know, and we'll work on it. We'll work on it together. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.